Hello and welcome to Halloween Be Thy Name. Have you heard of the Witch of Endor? In the kingdom there was a powerful prophet called Samuel. The king was named Saul. Now Samuel and Saul between them had put all the witches, soothsayers and spiritualists out of the kingdom. They'd either been put to death or banished from the kingdom. Now Samuel the prophet died and was buried, and many years later the kingdom was under attack. Now Saul the king was terrified. He and all the priests were praying for a sign. Would they win in this battle, or would they die in the field? Because Saul and his prophets did not hear an answer from God, he decided that he would consult with a witch. So, disguising himself, wearing an old beard, wearing rags, he found himself at the home of the Witch of Endor. He said to her, "I need you to speak to somebody from the dead. Bring them back from beyond to give me a sign." She, not knowing that he was the king, said, "Who would you like me to bring back? Who would you like to speak to?" Saul said, "I need to speak to the prophet Samuel." And so the witch called upon the spirits, and suddenly, before her, an old man rose out of the ground. He was wrapped in his grave clothes, his skin falling from his bones. And he said, "Saul, why have you disturbed me?" Suddenly the witch knew who he was. She said, How could you have tricked me like this? Don't you know that Samuel and Saul put everyone to death who is a witch?" Saul said, "Don't be worried. I'll protect you." Saul said to Samuel, "Samuel, Samuel, I've been praying, but I never heard back from God. Will I be defeated by the enemies this time?" Samuel said, "You should have had faith and waited. But because you have disturbed me and brought me back from the dead and consulted with this witch, then you will die on the field this time." 2 days later, Saul and his army and his sons went out to fight with the enemies in the field. And sadly, Jonathan, who we know from his relationship with David, died in the field. Saul, running from the enemy, knowing that the others were gone and dead, said, "They will catch me and they will kill me too, and they are enemies of our God. I need somebody who serves our God to kill me." So he said to his sword-bearer, "Strike me down, and then the enemies of our God will not have killed me." But his sword-bearer said, "Absolutely not. I cannot strike the Lord's anointed." And so Saul fell onto his own sword and lay, half alive, half dead, on the ground for a day and a half, until another of his soldiers, feeling sorry for him, ran him through. The Witch of Endor survived.